Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the CJ Howard Sports Talk Show. We're live from my apartment in Hazard, Kentucky. Glad to be with you on this cold Sunday evening. If we don't have a lot of pep in our step, it's been a rough week. We lost a legend, two legends this week, and we're going to spend some time talking about them. And we'll talk about other sports as well. We've got a good guest list for everybody here tonight. We're going to hear from Coach. We're hearing from Mr. John Clay, sports columnist for the Lexington Herald later. John covers a lot of UK sports, high school sports, and everything else. We're going to talk to him about whatever's on his mind. Interested and very excited to talk to him. Then we're going to talk to Breathitt County head basketball coach girls, Brandon Hayes, as the Lady Bobcats have had a good season. Trying to add on to that. Then we're going to talk to Todd Windlan, the new head girls basketball coach of the South Laurel Lady Cardinal. Get our first opportunity. South Laurel, probably one of the teams along with Corbin, Knox Central on the 13th. They've been playing some good basketball. And then Jamie's going to be back with us at 9:30 to help me out for the second week where Armando is out of town. We hope to have Armando back next week because he's been, I think, went home for the week, went home for a couple weeks. So hopefully we'll get him back as well. With me, my good friend, and always glad to have him on the show, and a very tired individual because he's put in some very hard work the past 3 days. He's been down at the All-A State Tournament. Want to congratulate Casual Bulldogs on a nice run down there. Come up a little short yesterday, and I think it was 44-28 loss to the champions, Danville Christian, who won the boys and the girls All-A State titles today. We'll try to fit that in later, but I'll throw it in there now. They did win. The girls won by 3 over Bethlehem, and Danville Christian beat Owensboro Catholic in the boys' final by about the same score, about 3. So, congratulations to them. I don't know if we've ever had same school win both the boys and the girls on the same day, so that's something different for the All-A. But as well, Nathan, it's great to have you with us. I know you put in a lot of good work. You and Greg did a great job down there with some good basketball and a good week.
Appreciate it. Easy to do good work when the games are that good. You know, we've covered Hazard. We had one game that was a Evan Everso go-ahead shot with a few seconds to go. Then we have the second one that goes into overtime. Gave you a little bit of everything you could ever ask for. And Bulldogs came up a little short on Saturday. But, it is what it is. I feel like they could have had a shot. But, man, they played two good teams going up to that. They had to be wore out. You could tell they were tired, and they were up at the half. You know what I mean? They were up at the half, and then kind of got away from them in the second half.
I've seen Danville Christian in the preseason, but I haven't saw them lately. But a lot of people have said they're for real. They got the 2 7-footers. Nathan, are they for real? I mean, everybody says they're nice players.
Well, I mean, they're good. You had Luwal, Ayayi, and Lake, a 10. A 10 seemed like he was the better of the two, as in he could hit shots, he could move around, he could do some stuff. I think he hit a 3 in the game. The other one was really raw, but at the same time, he's really, that kind of length is just something that you can't, you can't teach that kind of stuff. You can't teach that. You can't, you're just in a really big, in a real heap of trouble if you don't have any way to deal with it. And the way they played Hazard, they played a zone and kind of packed things in if you wanted to go inside. But as the game went on, their guards on the front side of that zone pushed Hazard's guards out around the half-court line, and then you had those guys patrolling the paint in the back But if you kicked it out for a three, they would come out and contest it, and they swatted a lot of 3-point attempts. They blocked, 3 or 4 threes in the second half, just closing out. And those are shots that you think you're going to get on any other team, but you don't have wingspan coming at you. But yeah, I felt a 10 was a really good player and would be a big time addition to any team. The other one, Ayayi, I feel like he was just raw. He was really big, really athletic. I didn't pay attention to what year they were, but nothing but upside. Nothing but upside.
Well, we always like to know things, so let's look that up real quickly because I believe they're seniors. I'm almost a guarantee. Do you know their numbers?
15 was a 10.
Okay, 15 is a junior.
Yeah, it was either 34 or 35 was a
he's a senior.
Okay.
So one's a junior, one's a senior. So that's good news for them, not for everybody else. But a good run by Hazard. Listen. A lot of people thought the championship game could come out of the first night there between Greene County and Hazard, and Hazard found a way to win that game. And then they go to the next night battling an undefeated Klein County team who we really didn't know a whole lot about because I was talking with some people and we looked at their schedule. Really hadn't played anybody, but they were more listening to you guys describe them. They sounded much more athletic and more of a team than what their record was.
They didn't have a bad record,
Yeah, well, you're 21-0. That's pretty good.
Yeah, they just, you just never know until you play. They hadn't really beaten anybody that incredible. But like I was telling Greg before the game, we said on the air, I said to win every game you play, it's hard to schedule 21 wins. It's just hard. It's hard to do that. You can't. There's not enough, tomato cans in the state to be 21-0.
And and I'm thinking about they're going to have to cancel several games because you don't want to. I think you can play 28 regular season games. Is that correct?
I'm not for sure, but it's somewhere around
because I'm thinking Hazard might be a couple over now with their with the 3 games they played down there at Owensboro. So, Coach, the Bulldogs may have to look into possibility of that. We'll talk about that later. Joining us now is been wanting to get this man on for a long, long time. He does tremendous work for Lexington Herald Leader. He covers high school sports. He covers UK. He covers any sport you want him to cover. Got a good mind for anything you want to read. He does. Mr. John Clay from Lexington Herald Leader. John, it's great to have you with us, and welcome to the CJ Harris Show.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
I'm tickled to death. Been wanting to get you on for a long time because you seem to I've got Jeff on here, and he gives me a good side on Kentucky. Then, of course, Mr. Hong, we brought him on this year, and he's been really good, insightful. Now we get your thoughts, and that's just 3 really good ways of knowing where the program is from day to day, time to time.
Well, and there's always, with Kentucky sports, there's always something to talk about. I've been doing it for a long time, and that's one of the things I've been very fortunate in the fact that Kentuckians and Kentucky fans are very passionate about their sports.
The first thing that I do want to ask you about is the passing of Philip Haywood. What was your thoughts on that? And I know you cover high school sports, and this is much like the Jim Matney situation from about 3 years ago. This is a tough one for the Mountains again.
Oh, absolutely. I was very sorry to hear about that. Obviously, Coach Haywood, a great coach, great history, so much success. Just a terrible accident and a great, just a tremendous loss for Kentucky high school, for Kentucky obviously for Kentucky high school football and the history of Kentucky high school football, but also for Kentucky high school athletics as well, for everything that Coach Haywood meant to Kentucky high school athletics. And, when we talk about, Kentuckians and Kentucky sports fan being very passionate about sports, that certainly is the case with high school sports and with basketball, football, especially, but really all high school sports. And so, my condolences to Coach Haywood's family, and just a terrible accident and a terrible passing.
We also lost today Donnie Gray, the former Clay County head girls basketball coach. He passed away earlier this morning, and that's another loss. And we lost 2 legends in the past week.
Yeah, that's very tough as well. And like I say, talking about basketball there as well, and not just boys basketball, but girls basketball. Just the history and the passion of the people who follow those sports. Another loss, as you mentioned.
Yeah. Let's get into the UK a little bit. Yesterday, I think a lot of people thought they could go down there and get a win at Vandy. Too many turnovers. Just couldn't take care of the ball. But, that hadn't been a problem coming into the game. Because Kentucky had been really good at taking care of the basketball. But yesterday, they were just not good with it at all.
No, that's Vandy's strength. I mean, coming into the game, Vandy, I think, was ranked in the top 20 in turnover percentage, in turnovers they were forcing per game. Kentucky also ranked, and Vanderbilt, top 20 team in taking care of the basketball. Kentucky ranked as a top 20 team, a little bit ahead of Vandy in taking care of the basketball. So that was surprising from that standpoint. So not only did Kentucky have the 17 turnovers, but they were only able to force 5 Vanderbilt turnovers. So even though Kentucky won the boards, won rebounds by a decisive margin, Vanderbilt, I think, got up 12 more shots than Kentucky. And I think that turned out to be kind of the difference in the game. And, Kentucky, I thought they missed Andrew Carr, obviously, yesterday. He's a very crafty player. Vanderbilt's not a very tall team. They could have used Carr's size to have a size advantage. But I think also you've got some other guys who are going to beat up. Lamont Butler had 6 turnovers yesterday, the point guard. He's playing with some nagging injuries right now. So I think those things kind of caught up to Kentucky yesterday down in Nashville.
I think a lot of people were a little surprised by the lineup he had in there at the end of the first half. I mean, you're staying in the game. You decide you're going to go ahead and put 2 freshmen and somebody you've not played a whole lot, and Vanderbilt took advantage of that.
Yeah, and I think not having Carr in the lineup, I think he had to change Mark Pope had to change the substitution pattern. I thought, at the end of the first half, and I thought at the end of the game, I thought Noah, obviously from Arlen County, had a good freshman year, but I don't think he played in an SEC game until yesterday. He kind of got caught at the end of the game there in a one-on-one situation against A.J. Hoggard, who's a veteran guard. He played 4 years at Michigan State for Tom Izzo. And, I in talking to him after the game, I asked Strand, what do what on that play were you trying to do, and what do you think you can learn from that play? And he said, obviously, he's a veteran guy. I did the best I could. We were able to he didn't score, Hoggard didn't score, but they were able to clean up for the basket. But I think back to your original question, I think with Carr being out, with some other people kind of banged up, I think Mark went away from his usual substitution pattern, ended up playing Colin Chandler more as well. I think I think their overall health had something to do with that.
Yeah, and it was strange because usually you wouldn't see Coach Pope do that, especially on the road. Now, we might expect that at home because he can get away with it a little more because in the confines of Rupp Arena, but there it was a little strange. Regardless of how this season is going to end, I'm proud of these guys, and I'm proud of Coach Pope's first year. Have we gotten more out of this team than we expected?
Yeah, I think so. To this point, I mean, if you told me before the season that they're going to beat Duke, they're going to win, they're going to be 16 down at the half, Gonzaga and come back and win that game, that they're going to be 5-0 against top 15 teams before they played Alabama last week, I would have said, I don't know. I was one of those ones that thought they might get off to a slow start. I mean, you got so many new players, not a single scholarship player left over from last year. These guys didn't know each other until they got here in the summer. They might get off to a slow start, but we get better as the year has gone on. So, I think they played better than expected. They're just a really tough league. I mean, the fact that they're 3-3 in the SEC, you look at their losses. Now, obviously, Georgia's not playing very well right now. They did not play well at Georgia. I didn't think yesterday was a terrible loss. I thought the bad part about yesterday is they had a chance to win and couldn't close the deal at the end. I mean, they're down 14 at the half. They end up being up 7 in the second half and couldn't close the deal. But there are other, the other loss, Alabama's one of the best teams in the country. Alabama could easily go back to the Final Four. So, they're going to take some more bumps to the SEC. That's just the way it's going to be. I mean, the SEC, I've been around the SEC for a long time. This is as strong as I've ever seen the SEC in basketball from top to bottom. So, I think to this point, I think they've exceeded expectations.
I think we're going to have at least every team in the conference have 3 losses by end of the season. Every team, even Auburn and Alabama, because they're going to play each other. They're going to, we saw Auburn, Tennessee last night. Good game. Auburn they got back their main man, Broom. Didn't do a whole lot last night, but he helped them enough to be able to get the win over Tennessee. Tennessee really hasn't recovered from the Florida game.
No.
When they got blistered down there in Gainesville, they've not recovered. And this is a big game for both Kentucky and Tennessee coming up on Tuesday night. They both need to win. You're 2-3 in you're 2-3 in the conference. I think Tennessee's 3-3 in the conference. So somebody's gonna get their 4th conference loss right here, and that's big.
Yeah, well, Kentucky's kind of hit some bad luck here from the standpoint that they played Alabama right after Alabama had lost to Ole Miss. So you knew Alabama was, had a lot of motivation to get back on the winning side. They played Vanderbilt on Saturday. At Vanderbilt, they'd upset Tennessee the Saturday before, but then lost at Alabama. So here now Kentucky plays a Tennessee team that lost to Auburn. You mentioned Auburn. Auburn's undefeated in league play, but they were lucky to beat South Carolina at South Carolina. I don't think South Carolina has a league win to this point, and I think they ended up beating South Carolina by 3 in Columbia. I watched that game. They were very lucky to win that game, and they only won by 2 points against Georgia, a team that got blown out yesterday by Florida, has had their struggles. They should have beaten Arkansas the other night. They gave that game away at the end. So, I'm with you. I'll be very surprised if not every team, before this is over, the conference champion and the regular season doesn't have maybe 4 or 5 losses. We'll see.
What Kentucky done in the regular season, if for some reason it got down to it, would their resume be good enough to get them in the tournament? Regardless.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I'm going under the assumption that they're not going to go completely in the tank down the stretch.
Yeah.
But I think what they've done now, I think now, you would still have to put them at a decently high seed, even with these. I think they've lost 3 of their last 4.
Mm-hmm.
But I expect them to get things straightened out. Obviously, Tennessee's going to be a tough game on Tuesday night. Tennessee is really good defensively. They go through spells where they don't score. That's kind of been the problem with Rick Barnes' teams the last few years. But they're really good defensively. So that's obviously going to be a tough game. Then you get Arkansas at home. Arkansas's got their struggles, but you got the John Calipari factor in that game. But I expect Kentucky to win that game. But yeah, I think at this point, unless they completely go in the tank, I think they're safely in the tournament.
We expect them to beat Arkansas Saturday. We've seen the craziest things happen this year.
That's true.
I mean, yeah. Nathan, you got some questions for John? I got a few more I want to ask you.
I don't. Maybe more of a discussion point here. I've, as far as Kentucky's, ranking, the way they played, they have, exceeded expectations. I think, new coach, brand new team, and really not the star power that you used to seeing in years past, and honestly getting better results than you see, especially the last few years. So I think everybody's happy about that, but it just seems to me that just the culture is shifted to a more positive, and it's kind of a throwback to what Kentucky used to be. Because I tell you, as a basketball fan, I was a big Kentucky fan growing up, and honestly, the Coach Cal era kind of just desensitized me to it. Just because, when I was growing up, you had Cameron Mills and Jeff Shepard and even kids that didn't play a lot, but you saw them every year. The Matt Heisenbuttles, the guys like that. At Kentucky, I could, once Cal got there, senior night was an afterthought. You never had any seniors. You couldn't really get attached to any players because it was a new crew every year. And eventually it got to the point where, I just felt like we were a draft pick factory, and I wasn't really invested in it. And it seems like Coach Pope has come in and he's looking to change that mentality first off and get things to where it's about winning, and I think that this is the most invested I've been in Kentucky basketball in a long time, and I'm sure a lot of fans feel the same way.
Yeah, absolutely. When they had the press conference at Rupp Arena when Mark Pope was hired to introduce Mark as the Kentucky coach, when the fans packed Rupp Arena, I wrote that after that Kentucky fans want their program back, basketball program back, and Mark Pope wants to give it back to them, and I think that's what he's done. Yeah, one of the earlier games earlier in the season there at Rupp Arena, I was in line to get food at Chick-fil-A. A long line there at the Chick-fil-A concession stand, and this couple was in front of me, and one of the 101 members, the Blue Coat members, was walking by, and they knew him, and they kind of flagged him down, and they were talking to him, and I overheard the lady say to the 101 member, "I'm looking for tickets to the Alabama game. I need 2 tickets to the Alabama game." And the 101 member said, "Good luck. Everybody's back." And I think that kind of sums it up. People are back involved in it. They're back, and nothing against John Calipari. I think for Calipari, especially for those, it's hard to beat the first 8 or 9 years that John had, winning a national championship, going to so many Final Fours. That 38-1 team, it obviously dropped off at the end, and I think John recognized that it was time to move on. UK fans were ready for him to move on. But I do think there is a different feeling with Mark Pope, a former player, somebody who obviously appreciates the job, has a love for the University of Kentucky, knows what the University of Kentucky basketball program is all about. And I think the fans have really fed into that and have really appreciated that, just like you said.
I will say, though, that, you have about this much rope with Kentucky, with Kentucky fans. You know what I mean?
You might be being generous there, but go ahead.
Okay. This much rope, this much thread. I even though you got lost to Vanderbilt recently, I still feel like the overall feeling is pretty high around the Kentucky fan base. But I could just see that if this doesn't, you've got to advance, Sweet 16 at least into this first tournament for it to be considered really any level of success. And I mean, that's coming from a team that's not advanced past the first round, very, and who knows how long. So I really feel like Kentucky's just got to, like Coach Pope, I think he's got the team to do it. I think he could easily be in the Sweet 16. I mean, honestly, you put the right string of games together. This is the hardest tournament in the world to win.
Right.
I don't think there's any tournament anywhere in any sport that is harder to win than, you got 68 teams now, maybe more. I don't know, 68 teams, and you go, game after game. And if you have one bad game against one of the other best teams, it's over. It's over. There's no 7-game series. There's none of this. There's no play-in phase like in the World Cup where you just have to score so many goals and then you move forward. It doesn't matter. If you have one bad game, it's over. So I think as the year goes on, and I don't anticipate them winning out the season. They're going to lose a few more games, but they've got to put themselves in a position to get at least to the Sweet 16, in my opinion, or it's going to be the same old Kentucky pressure cooker that we've experienced for the last, decade, it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, you got to win at Kentucky. I mean, that's the bottom line. You have to win. And obviously March matters most, how you do in the tournament. I mean, last year, Kentucky had a pretty good regular season year, but they got knocked out again in the first round by Oakland in an upset. The second time in 3 years that they were beaten by a much lower seeded team in the first round of the tournament. So, you got to win. And I think Mark understands that. I think he might give a little bit of leeway in the first year from the standpoint that it is his first year. But on the other hand, he's also a coach who came in who was yet to win an NCAA tournament game, either at Utah Valley or BYU. But I like what he's doing, and I think one of the other questions is, was he going to be able to recruit? I think even though he did not get the Caden Lewis kid the other night who committed to North Carolina, they were down to the final two for him, I believe. And I think he's going to recruit well, but I just think he's going to recruit differently than John Calipari did. I don't think he's going to go after every 5-star, every possible one-and-done player. I think he wants to build more of a team of maybe more veteran players. I think that's the direction he wants to go. But yeah, definitely. Obviously, if they could get to the Sweet 16, the Elite Eight, or even obviously Kentucky fans want to go farther. But if they could do that the first year, that would be a good showing. But I think Mark knows that he said from the start, I know the assignment, and the assignment at Kentucky basketball. If you're going to be the coach, you have to win.
100%. I agree. 100%. John, I got two more questions. I'll let you go. These are rope up the women. What a year for the women they've had. Great win today. Come back after a tough loss against Texas A&M. We're actually a little shorthanded on the women's team because we lost 2 players in the preseason. The injury that would have really helped this team. But wow, this women's team's about as fun as the men.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Kenny Brooks has done a great job putting together a roster. Georgia Amore, if you haven't watched her play, Kentucky's point guard, she is just a joy to watch. She knows how to play basketball. They've got some other really good players, talented players on that team. They got some tough games coming up in the SEC as well, but there'll be some entertaining games. Hopefully, the fans will turn out for those games. I think I saw where the LSU game is a sellout there at Memorial Coliseum. If you haven't been to Memorial Coliseum since they've done the renovation, you need to check that out. They did a really fine job with the renovation there at Memorial Coliseum, and that's fit in really well with the job that Kenny Brooks has done. Because I'm one of those people who've always said, I don't understand why Kentucky hasn't had a better women's program or more sustained success in their women's program, just by the fact that basketball means so much to Kentuckians. And they've had some good teams in the past, but it never quite had that sustained level of success. And absolutely, Kenny Brooks is off to a great start. Obviously, his history helps. In fact, they took Virginia Tech to the Final Four a couple of years ago. That helps. But he's just done a splendid job in putting together a roster. And you're right, they lost a couple of players that could have helped them, but they've done fine without him to this point.
The big thing I saw today when I watched them play, they didn't let the Texas A&M game bother them. They come back out. They got after Arkansas, and they just put Arkansas away. Okay. So, Tennessee at Tennessee on Tuesday night. That'll be an ESPN game. Looking forward to that. And then the big one, Saturday afternoon, or it's actually Saturday night.
Yeah, late night.
Late night, Lord. You're going to have a lot of people pacing because the one thing I do wonder, what kind of response is Calipari going to get when he comes in the arena? Nobody knows. Will he get? Will they cheer? I mean, will they be nice and or how
Oh, there may be a few boos, but I think overall there will be. I think he'll get a warm reception. It's not like Rick Pitino when Rick Pitino went to Louisville. I think these circumstances are completely different when John went to Arkansas. I mean, I'm sure fans are fans. There may be some boos here and there, but I'll be really surprised if there are a lot of boos. I hope and I expect that John gets a warm reception. I think that's one of the interesting things with Mark Pope coming back is, Rick Pitino came back. Rick Pitino's kind of now back in the fold. He's back in the program. He came on Big Blue Madness and got a really warm welcome, a really enthusiastic welcome, obviously. But a lot of that had to do with Mark Pope because of his relationship with Mark Pope and all the great things he said about Mark since Mark got the job. I know some people who know Rick, and they said that Rick was really touched by the reception he got that night. So I'll be surprised if John gets a lot of boos, and I hope that's not the case.
One more question, I'll let you go. Is game day going to be there Saturday?
I'm sorry?
Is game day going to be there Saturday?
No, they're doing Duke, North Carolina on Saturday.
Yeah.
It's ESPN. They got to push Duke, North Carolina.
Yeah, I forgot.
I think that's the case. At least I think that's what I heard.
You're 100% right. John, thank you so much for coming. Would you come back again?
Sure, anytime.
Oh, God, I would love, yes.
Whenever you like to have me, just let me know.
Oh God, yes. This has been so great. I appreciate you. Like I said, I got 3 good UK sources now, and that really helps me. And I love talking to you guys. You're really smart and play. Just so tickled death to have you, and thank you. And I can't wait for you to come back.
Thanks for having me, CJ. Appreciate it.
No problem, John. You have a good evening.
You too.
John Clay from the Lexington Herald Leader, as he does great work, Nathan. He really does. He's a great columnist.
Oh, yeah.
Now joining us is the head basketball coach of the Breathitt County Lady Cats, Mr. Brandon Hayes. Coach, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me.
No problemo. How are things in Jackson?
Doing all right. We're finally starting to thaw out a little bit.
How about school tomorrow? Have you heard?
I think the plan is, unless we get some freak snow tonight, that we'll be back in school tomorrow and trying to kind of get back into a routine.
Are you on a delay? I don't know. I know something straight out just going to go start.
We're back on regular schedule. It's been the first time we've been back since Christmas break.
I look for a lot of schools to try to go tomorrow. If we don't get much tonight, I know they're giving a little bit of some precipitation, but just have to wait and see what it comes out to be. Much like the other coaches I've had on here in the past weeks, you've lost some games to the weather. Have you been able to reschedule most of them games?
We lost a few games, but with the 30 limit on the season, when we made our run in all A, we were going to have to lose most of those anyway. So several of those won't get rescheduled just because we'll be at our limit.
I was just talking with Nathan a few minutes ago. Hazard boys will probably be in the same boat.
Yeah,
because they made it all the way to the all A state semifinals. Mm-hmm. So they're going to have they'll have to cancel a lot of games. In playing in the all A and you losing games, does that help your team down the road, or does that hurt you a little bit? Because
I mean,
the weather's really hurt you guys as far as getting everybody there for practice, and when you have to cancel games and you can't stay together, in being tournament time less than 4 weeks, that's hard.
Yeah, I didn't have anything scheduled that week of all A just because it was all A, so we didn't lose anything there. We did lose a couple of games on the back half, but it's worth it to make it as deep as you can make it in all A, and that was great experience in big game situations. So I'll take it.
Oh, yeah, you made it to the finals. You competed well, had your chances. Knox County just come out there in the second half and just put you away. But it was a good ball game. I'm impressed with you girls. Listen, you guys have been playing well all season. That was a big win over Owsley County. You go a lot of people does measuring sticks. That might have got your team the confidence they needed to build for the postseason tournament when it comes up here because, I think there's 5 teams legitimately that can win this thing. I mean, I know Knox County's probably the favorite. Losing the Pollard girl is going to hurt them because now they know they're going to have to depend on their guards more than they will because the inside game's not going to be there.
Yeah, and I truly hated that for her.
Yeah.
We had 3 ACL tears last year, all 3 starters, and I don't want to see that for any kid. That was a tough blow for her, especially her senior year.
But injuries, unfortunately, we don't want to see them. But it opens the door for teams. The tournament being at Hazard, that's going to be a big advantage for a lot of teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Hazard's playing really well. So I mean that goes in their favor. But I think you're right. I think there's a handful of teams that can really get after it and can make a run. And anything can happen late February, early March when the ball starts bouncing.
This region has been crazy, too, if you look at the girls, because I've watched 4 girls' games in the past 2 weeks. And, like, the other night, Wesley County beat Perry Central. Then the night before, they lost to Pineville. And I'm not putting Pineville down, but that's just this is not a consistent girls playing anywhere. I mean, the best team in the entire mountain, well, the 2 best teams, I think, are Johnson Central and North Laurel. Mm-hmm. But everybody else in all 3 regions are just you play. You can beat somebody on a given night if you're ready to play. You know,
Yeah, I think absolutely. A lot of it, and this is us as well, is there'll be nights where we'll come out and can't hit anything. I think I don't remember exactly what the numbers were, but the other night when we played, I think we shot 15% in the third quarter and 10% in the fourth quarter, and it's tough to overcome that. But you've got a handful of teams that if they're hitting, they can beat anybody.
and you look at the teams with records that's not as strong as some of the top, 5 in the region. Not you, Owsley, Letcher, and Purry. The teams in the bottom part, for the exception of probably 4 or 5, they can. They're crafty enough. If you don't go play, they can beat you.
Absolutely. You got to bring it every night, or upset is a stark reality.
Coach, you've been in this your 4th year. Before you come there, it was a revolving door of coaches. One come, one leave. One come, one leave. One come, one. And it got to the girls eventually to where this program was brought down a little bit. Are you comfortable now with things that you are the girls more comfortable now that they've had a coach for more than 2 years? And where is this program going? Is it going to be back up at the top? I know you guys are right there among the top teams. You've already proven that this year. But can we stay there? Because I know with the coaching changes, it can get pretty, they can lose their confidence and just say, well, why's this happening to us?
Yeah, it certainly can. And our goal from the very beginning was to get back to one of the top teams in the region. And I think we're on our way to that. Like I said, we made a really good show in All A, made it to the championship game. Couldn't be more proud of our girls. They, we went down to Florida and, we lost that first game. And then, we were down, I think it was 15 or 20 at halftime of the second game. And we came in, had a talk, and they kind of flipped a switch. And from there, they really kind of started buying in and getting back on track and have played well. But yeah, I think consistency is a big thing, and I think that we're on the right track and on the right trajectory for where we want to be.
Well, they got the right coach. I know that's the. I mean, you've done a great job with this team. When you first got them, their confidence level was low, but then you have brought it back up, and I have to give you kudos for that because it's hard to have a different coach every year.
It is, and I give all the credit to the girls. They're super resilient. They're fighters. I tell them all the time. I wouldn't want to go into war with any other group of kids.
Nathan, questions for Coach?
I'll just this time of year, I know you guys are talking about just now thawing out, and I don't. Perry, they're having issues right now with water, so they're actually canceling. What's going on NTI tomorrow? They switched Buckhorn weeks to have that doubleheader at Perry tomorrow, so they can have water at the venue. Have you guys had to cancel a lot of games? Have you got them rescheduled?
For the most part, we've got our schedule basically intact down the stretch. We had to cancel a few games. We were over our limit anyway with All A, but so no, we're pretty much set down the road.
Good deal. It's tough for a lot. The fact that it happened around All A, kind of, once everybody gets their All A stuff in, you guys made a deep run in it too. So you did. I mean, you couldn't have lost any games in the All A, but it felt like, especially for some of these teams. I guess Jenkins and Cordia, they had to wait so long to get their games in. So you stretch that out like a week or so, and then you lose pretty early, and then you're back to the drawing board. I think we interviewed Perry Central's players at their game the other night, and players said they hadn't played a game in 15 days or something like that. It seems like it's a wild time, but I guess for you guys, mostly unscathed due to LA, though.
The toughest part was, we have Wolf County, which is a big district rival, and they're playing really, really well right now. So it was waking up every morning. Are we going to play today? Are we going to try and get in the gym and shoot? Or, and that happened for 3 or 4 days, just the uncertainty of whether or not we were going to be able to play that game and trying to figure it out the morning of. But yeah, we were able to, because we were able to keep advancing, we were able to mitigate some of those losses.
Yeah.
You have one more district game left, right?
Yes. We've got
Jackson City
this week.
And then you'll be done with district play.
Yes.
Then, of course, I think you are the number 1 seed right now. Mm-hmm. And Wolf will be 2. Jackson City. Because Wolf and Jackson City we'll go ahead. We know they're going to play each other in the first round. Mm-hmm. And I think the boys will be done next week, I believe. Because I think so. Boys have already played Jackson City. Like they still got a game with Jackson City. I believe they've already played Wolf twice.
Yeah, they had to reschedule their Jackson game because of LA, because of the snow.
Yeah. What's the limitations of the district games are the things you got to get in before anything else? Then after you would get the district games in, what are games that you focus on that you lost that you want to get in? I know that you want to play some teams that are maybe you might see in the region, or you just want to see a team that you've not seen and get a different look. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, what it really boils down to at this point, honestly, is availability for them and for us. You kind of have to not just look at your own schedule, but you've got to look at their schedule and just try and figure out, is a makeup game even feasible? And then, we're not out of the woods yet with winter. So,
oh, I know.
We get another big snow like this, we're all going to be in trouble.
They said February. They're not real high on February yet. So
I hadn't heard that. So
yeah, they're not real high on February yet. We'll have to wait and see. You can't tell the weather a long time ahead, but they said any indication of what January was, February may not be as pretty. Coach, I wanted to get your thoughts on something that happened today. We lost another legend. Of course, we lost Philip Haywood earlier in the week. We lose Donnie Gray just this morning, former Clay County head basketball coach. I know you guys played a game in Manchester back on January. No, I'm sorry. When did you go to the 21st of January? Had they already named the court after him? And what kind of experience was that? Because I know Clay County, they're not the Clay County Bowl, but it was still a good thing for you girls to go play the Mystique places there at Clay County.
Yeah, so a couple things. They had the new entryway opened up, the Hall of Legends, and that was amazing. That was really impressive to walk through, and I played with a couple of the guys that were on some of the displays in college, and then actually their head coach was on the girls team at Alice Floyd while I was playing. I think she came in with me, and then I redshirted, but she was a really solid player. But that Clay County team, they are really, really young, and they're going to be really, really good in the years to come. I think maybe sophomore was their oldest kid, and wow. Most of them are 7th and 8th graders, and
wow,
they play really, really hard. They play really, really well. They're going to be a team to watch out for in the coming years.
Was the Coach Gray had the court been named after him before you had played there, or was that a couple of days later?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I think it was, but I'm not positive.
He was a legendary figure in girls basketball, and we've not got too many legends left. So I mean, it's we can't lose anybody else. So yeah, that was another tough one this morning. Nathan, anything else you want to ask Brandy before we let him go?
No, other than if he can share any secrets on the John Driscoll workout plan. Can you
better not give away his secrets. But
Okay.
he's been a big asset for us these last couple of years. He does a lot of the way he kind of approaches strength and conditioning is a little bit different than how I traditionally experienced in a good way. I really like his approach to that, and I think it's been extremely beneficial for our girls. That was one of the hardest things about last year. We had so many girls go down, and if you ask them, they'd say, I was in the best shape of my life. It's just little freak accident things. But he does a great job. I give him a shout out to him.
You got to have somebody who can keep your players in shape and be able to get them weights and stuff like that, because it's very important. Because, we talk all the time how we see more injuries in basketball and baseball than you would see football, because of the up and down action, side to side movement, and I think that's just people are trying to be more cautious how they get their body, especially when they're, you want muscle and stuff. So, a lot of people ask me, I had a young man asked me the other day, said, what should I do? I'm playing running back in 8th grade next year. What should I do? I said, well, you need to get in the weight room. I said, you need to be able to work on your 40 and be in the weight room and do the things that's good for your body to make you strong, be able to take the beating, the licks and stuff. And the same thing basketball, basketball can be a tough game sometimes if you're not in shape or you're not got any muscle. You can't, it's tough. Yeah. Going 4 quarters with the ever so kid Hazard, that'll just give you a good idea of how tough things can be sometimes if you ain't in physical shape, ready to go. So
Definitely.
Yeah, coach.
It's I'll back on the injury plan. I think about kids being in good shape. I think a lot of times kids are just overworked and they're not overworked. It's just at the level of athleticism that we see nowadays, like just kids are more like, and I think you see it in professional sports, professional sports, college sports, high school sports, all the way down the line. There's just more, seems like devastating injuries, knee injuries, tears requiring surgeries. They're just a lot more common now. I go back to that, John Daly in the 90s, the golfer. He said, it's why I never get injured, because you can pull a muscle, but you can't pull fat. He that's part, I feel like, I've never had a career-ending injury, and I've also never had a six-pack. And I think there's a correlation there that we need to study.
I think Nathan needs to be on the nutritionist team at the State Department. There you agree on that, Brandon? Yeah, I think he would be. Yeah, he would be perfect. He would. Yeah.
Yeah, they should. That'd be an example of government waste, because if they pay me to handle that stuff, then that we're wasting your tax dollars. There's already people raising questions about me, doing it for the Department of Education, but it gets people, but I'm a pretty smart guy when you get down to it. No.
Listen, I have never challenged your smartness. Yes.
Don't ever do it either, CJ.
Oh, Lord, no. I do not want on your
bad side, baby.
I do not want on your bad side. Never. Never, Nathan Little. Never. Coach, it's been another honor. Thank you so very much for being with us. You're doing a great job. You really, really are. I have to give you kudos. There before you got there, it was a little tough on them girls, because I saw them go through some hard times, and I seen them have some teams that I thought could be pretty good, but consistency was not the game. And I feel like that you're bringing that back to them, and you're doing a good job with them. And hey, never know, one break here or there, you might be sitting there playing for the marbles to go to Rupp Arena. So keep up the good work, doing a great job down there. And I know you're enjoying it, and you love your girls. They play hard, and just keep it up. Doing a great job.
Thank you for having me on.
Always. Hope you can come back soon again.
All righty. Good to
All
see
right,
y'all.
thank you, Brandon. Thank you. Brandon Hayes, coach of the Breathitt County Lady Cats. As they play, if you want to check them out, they play Tuesday night against Betsy Lane at Betsy Lane, and then they got their last district game against Jackson City 2 days later on Thursday. Coach, thank you very much. We'll talk to you later.
All right, thank you.
Okay, bye. Coach Brandon Hayes, good interview, Coach. But you know, Nathan, I was being very honest with Brandon. Listen. Breathitt County went through some hard times there for about 4 seasons when they had coach after coach after. It's hard to do anything when you go coach after coach after coach.
Yeah, it is. And you know, I feel like you know, they were in a bad way there for a minute. You know, and you know, I think Cordy as a girls team, you know, not throwing shade up, but they've been in a similar situation where it's a constant carousel of coaches, and it almost feels as like it's just if they can get somebody in there, they'll do it, and you don't have any consistency. And I think there needs to be, you know, some consistency from the head coaching position at the high school all the way down to the grade schools, and it's all got to work together. And if it's not working at the high school, if it's just straight up, you know, someone new every year, it's hard to work. But
yeah.
In general, it's just if I had a new boss, you know, every year at my job, different things would be expected of me every year, and I would never, you know, I would every year I would spend learning a new way to do things, and I'd never get really great at any one thing. So,
you know, in radio, that probably happens from year to year. You've had the same people you've been under, but there's things that you do have to change doing here and there from time to time.
oh yeah.
We're going to have South Laurel head coach with us at 9. Let's talk a little bit about both of our coaches we've lost this week. First, let's talk about Coach Haywood. Nathan, this was one of the greatest gentlemen that I've ever met. I have an interview that he done with me. The last interview, he was on the show back on November 10th. I was going to play it tonight. I'm going to have to fix it up and have it ready for next week to let people see his final interview that he had with us. But Nathan, this was a man that not just a great football coach. He was much like Jim Matney. He was a legendary figure walking. He was a Christian man, but he valued life skills in his players, and they were successful in everything they did. And Coach Haywood is an unbelievable man, and it's an unbelievable loss for the Mountains in the state of Kentucky.
Oh yeah, it's a big loss for everyone, and I feel like Coach Haywood represents a particular breed of coach that is no longer around anymore. You know what I mean? It just feels like he's part of the old guard. You know, real stoic guy on the field, didn't really raise a lot of cane, get real animated or whatever. He always dressed nice. You know, I feel like he just seemed like there was something a little more there than these typical coaches you see around here. And not, you know, not there's plenty of coaches around here that are killing it and are not wearing a suit every week. You know, there's plenty of coaches doing that. But I just feel like Coach Haywood represents some pageantry from years past that you just don't see anymore. And we're all better for experiencing it, and we're all worse off for not having him around anymore.
You know, you talk about, I don't know if I ever saw him in the 40-some years he coached ever show himself be animated, you know, really talk to the officials like you see some coaches do. Some throw clipboards, water bottles, tape, whatever they got their hands on themselves. Coach Haywood would be like a conversation, and it was very gentle, and then it was a little stern, but it never was like disrespecting a person or the referee. And he seemed to got better results with that way than he did any other coach doing the way how you would approach an official. Because I never saw him get out of hand. He was that stoic individual on the side of this wall. I mean, well dressed, like you said. Spoke when he spoke, it was like E.F. Hutton. When he spoke, a lot happened. And I mean, he was just legendary on the sideline.
Absolutely.
And he told me in the last interview that, I said, Coach, how many years do you think you have left in you? He said, I'm going year to year, CJ, and I just hope that the good Lord gives me another day. I'll be here. He goes, I feel good. I still want to coach. I still love the game. The game loves me, and unfortunately, we're not going to have him around no more. You know what? It was hard to watch Johnson Central football the first 2 seasons after Coach Matney passed away. You talk about even harder now to watch Belfry football, and I don't know what they're going to do. And I don't even know what direction you would even go. Do you bring in a former player? Do you hire within what you've got already? We saw Johnson Central just do that. They went ahead and gave it to the assistant coach, Coach Peck, which he's done a good job since Matney's passing. But this is the same type of situation, Nathan, where I just don't know where they're going to go from here. And, it's so sad. And the more I think about it, I'm going to miss him because I missed Coach Matney and I'm going to miss Coach Haywood. And, of course, we're going to talk about Coach Gray here in a second. But these legendary coaches, we just can't keep losing them. It's too hard.
Well, I mean, sadly, it's just, it's inevitable. You know what I mean? And it feels like there's not many of them left. You know what I mean? It feels like, especially over there in the 15th region with the way things, in the last few years, we've lost, I think, I would put Matney and Haywood at maybe, especially in that area over in the Big Sandy, 1 and 2, all time.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree 100%. You look at the amount of state championships that both Matney and Coach Haywood had, but you look at the amount of players that they've coached and went on to be successful and went on to go to college and went on to be great people and great people in the workplace. But they always come back to Coach Matney, and Coach Haywood, and that can be never forgotten because if you've got leaders like that, then kids are going to respond.
Yeah, and you mentioned where they go from there. I really don't. I really don't know. It feels like he was kind of the brains behind everything over there in Belfry, and I don't know where they go. Don't want to speculate either. A couple names pop in my mind, but I think that'll be for the folks over in Pike County and at Belfry High School to decide in due time, and when they get let things settle down, and make an informed decision. But I'm sure that's going to be a job, a school that's going to want to maintain that level of success. Even you imagine it's going to have to take a bit of a backseat for a little bit, but you definitely don't want to just throw somebody in there that's not ready for it.
And of course, this morning we lost Coach Donnie Gray, former Clay County head basketball coach, coached there for a long time. Coached during the Bobby Keith era. Bobby Keith, of course, passed away 6-7 years ago. Coach Gray, they just named the court after him last 2 Fridays ago, I believe, before the bad weather come. And Nathan, if you've never met Donnie Gray, this was a very entertaining man. He was one of the nicest gentlemen you could meet. Great. The kids loved playing for him. And you know what he done at Clay County with the Clay County girls at one stretch? About as impressive as what Coach Haywood did.
Yeah, I didn't. I had a few interactions with Coach Gray. Not very many of them, but glad to see. And the Gray name over in Clay County. That's that whole family is just a big. Big time. They, it's still. I think they've got a Gray coaching the team right now. I may be wrong, but I feel like it's Clay County. I don't get over there as much. I'm mostly tied down in the 14th region, but never heard a bad word about the guy. Always heard of the good things that he's done, and same with Bobby Keith. I never heard anything about except other than what good coaches those folks were, and how much better men they were.
Yeah, and that's another legendary coach we've lost too soon. And I think that it's like we said. We've got a very few coaches left that are still. Wendell Wilson's still alive. Coach Napier, of course, still alive. He's doing games with you. I'm trying to remember some other legendary figures. Still, we got some still living, and that's good. But I'm afraid we're going to lose some of them too. And it's painful because Nathan, our heritage and everything we've known is not going to be the same.
Yep, new guard in, and it feels like there's not really many. Legends, still active. We've got a few, but really there's not a ton of them. Blessed this week to be over in Owensboro watching Coach Holland still do it. He's the winningest coach in the history of the 14th region. Still going at it, but I don't know how much longer. Coach Holland, what's he got left to prove? I'm enjoying the ride while he's there, but the guy's just still going after all this time,
and still doing a great job. He's got that Hazard team playing well. They're 19-2. Listen, they were a couple of bounces away from winning against the Danville Christian, who won the state title today in the All-A. The boys and girls both winning the All-A state championships down in Owensboro. But as Nathan was telling us earlier, you don't find too many teams with 7-footers on the team. And, this was a pretty good team. Last year they were the runners-up in the All-A. This year they finally get the championship. But it was a good week of basketball there. Nathan, Pineville won a game. Martin County played well, played hard. Our mountain schools made us proud down there this week.
Yeah, man. Talked to my buddy John North. He was there watching Pineville play in their second round game against Lyon County. So it was a good effort from them. They won a game. Hazard won 2, and we're up. They led the majority of the last game, but unfortunately gave up a run late. Knott County would have loved to have seen those girls make a better run of it. Had a really slow. I didn't watch the game, but from the score, it just seemed like an ugly one.
Let's see. None of the girls' teams won a first round game. Pineville didn't win a first-round game. Hazard won 2 games, and Martin County was out in the first round. But overall, the level, Knox County girls lost by 5. Probably Middlesboro had the toughest loss of all of them, but they played the runners-up from Bethlehem, and in the first game, and then of course Martin County had to play Owensboro Catholic, who are the two-time defending girls champions. So that's tough draws when you have to play. If you have to play either Louisville, Holy Cross, or Owensboro, or any of them good teams that's already won state championships, that's very difficult to get through.
Yeah, that was on Owensboro Catholic's home court.
Yeah, that was tough for Middlesboro to play that. Well, that was really tough. Supposed to be joined by Coach Woodland, but he might have got occupied with something going on. If he don't get to us tonight, I'll find out. Hopefully, we'll get him on next week. We'll be joined by Jamie in just a little bit. He's going to join us. We're going to talk some stuff with him. He been filling in for Armando, who I think's on vacation back in Texas there. So tomorrow night, if you're wondering, the Prairie Central Buckhorn game between them has been moved. The game will be played at Prairie Central, not at Buckhorn, due to water situations. And also, Nathan has just informed us that there's no school in the Perry County school system tomorrow.
NTI Day 10. NTI Day 10. Don't tell people no school, CJ. You'll get me in trouble.
Okay.
NTI Day number 10. So it's school from home.
School. Okay, let me correct myself so that I do better. NIT Day number 10, from home you must work. And Nathan did not tell me that. I learned that on my own. Okay. So Nathan's not in the hot water. So.
They can't do nothing to me. They can't do nothing to me now. You know what I mean?
Okay. Can I get it? Yes, Coach. Yep. You can go ahead and go in. Let me make sure I send him. I send him an invitation. Sometimes I forget when I send them out to everybody. I got to make sure I count to 5. Hopefully we'll have Coach here in just a second. But Nathan, when you was down there, talk about some kids, some players that we don't know about from some of these other teams I think Greene County had a couple of guards that was pretty good, and of course the battle between Evanshaw and the young man from Clinton County. Talk about some individual players you saw down there.
I mean, I really liked the Titus Brown kid from Danville Christian. You know, he wasn't the 7-footer, but I felt like he really dictated the team's offense. Thought he was a good strong guard, got going downhill fast, and if you didn't get in front of him, you know, he just had a knack to get to the rim. I feel like Evan Eversole was as good as anybody in the tournament. Definitely, that second round game against Clinton County, 32-10, and 11 for 12 from the free throw line. You know, those were the 2 standouts for me. Evan and Titus Brown.
Okay, I'm gonna have to send Coach another invite because I think the one he's got is not working. So we'll just send him another one. And continue talking, Nathan, while I'm doing this. Go ahead and get that in there. And I will
chatting online. I'm chatting online with all of my fans right now, CJ. Yeah. I got my mom right here telling me, "Oh, baby, I love you. This is so good." No, it's a big look. Go ahead and preview some big games. Again, I'm in the 14th region this week. We got Perry Hazard on Friday, and then
it's a big week.
Perry Knott girls on Thursday, and then it sounds like I'm just reciting Perry games, but I mean that girls game versus Knox County is a big game.
It is a big game. And it's a big week for a lot of teams because a lot of these recycled games coming back into action starting the last week of January. All right, now joining us is the head basketball coach of the South Laurel Cardinals, Todd Windlan. Coach, it is an honor to have you with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, CJ.
Tickled to death. I know probably Jeff Davis has told you some stuff about me. You know, you can't believe anything he tells you because he's a great guy.
Yeah, he's been really good to me.
Congratulations on getting the job, and so far, so good. You're off to a blistering start. Listen, got a young team, coach, but you guys are playing like you got 10 seniors up there, and you only got what, one? So I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yep, we got one. That's right. So we are very young, and the kids have really bought into what we're doing, and they're playing pretty good basketball right now.
We don't know a whole lot about you because you're new. So tell us a little bit about you, because anytime we get new coaches in here, we like to learn the where you come from, what your pathway to here was. Because you come to a great program in South Laurel, coach, that is had a great coach. You know, he went back to Mercer County. Now you took over this program. You're finding out this is a top-notch program that can play. I mean, got good young kids.
Yes. Yeah, my background is, my first 20 years was spent in the state of Indiana. Coached a lot of great players and had a lot of really nice teams in Indiana. And, my kids are all grown, and I was looking to get a little bit farther south. I've got a really long history in the golf industry. Played college golf at Purdue University, and saw the job opened up. Knew a coach in Kentucky that told me a little bit about it, and applied, got an interview, and next thing you know, I got the job. So very blessed, and it's been an enjoyable season, and great community to be a part of. And they love basketball here, and that's what I was really looking for, a passionate basketball community. So everything's going pretty well right now.
Yeah, you're in the footsteps of some really great coaches that have coached there in the history of Laurel County sports. And, let's talk about your team. I love them. They're young, but they're scrappy. I mean, they get after it every night.
Yeah.
I looked at your schedule, and you listen, you're not afraid of anybody. You played some of the best, and you went toe-to-toe with them. But, we talked, I don't know, you probably got a lot more players that's listed not on the roster, but, there's a lot, you got to have a lot of kids in a season where it's been strange. You've had a lot of cancellations, move games, play here, practice here. That has to be a little aggravating too, but first year, you've done very well with that. Talk with your girls, I'm excited about it.
Yeah, we've got, we got this Jamie Bonaventura is our only senior. Jamie's had a really good year, leading us in rebounding and third in scoring, and has provided good leadership to us. And then we really have one junior in Aubrey Bundy, and we had Riley Bretz, our 8th grade post player, hyperextend her elbow. She's been out for about 2.5 weeks now, and Aubrey stepped in the starting lineup and has really provided a spark for us. And those are the only 2 kids in the program that can drive a car. So,
That's unique. Usually, half the team's usually driving or something. You've only got 2.
Yeah. So we've got 2, and then we've got 3 sophomores in Skeeter Mabe and Macy Morris and Emma Adams. And Skeeter's one of the highest basketball IQ kids I've coached in a long time, and we moved her out to handle the ball at the point, and she makes such great decisions with the basketball. And Macy's had a nice year, leading us in scoring right now, and doing really nice things. And then Emma's come off the bench. Emma's a good 3-point shooter, and Then we go straight to the 8th grade, where we're starting 2 8th graders in Callie Jones and Riley Bretts, and bringing McKenna Andis, Shelby Smith, Mia Hibbert off the bench as 8th graders. And, it's just a young team, and sometimes you get a little frustrated because, they make some poor decisions or something like that. But then, I think back when I was in the 8th grade and I had no business being on the court in a varsity game. So, they're learning on the fly, and, they're doing a really nice job for us.
Games changed so much. It's the olden days, hardly ever would you ever heard a 7th, 8th grader get in the varsity. You only heard a freshman get in the varsity game.
Yeah, we've got 5. We got 5 8th graders that play. Actually, we got 5 8th graders that play. We got Mia Hibbert, Shelby Smith, McKenna Andis, Riley Bretts, and Callie Jones. And when you're playing kids that young, and you're going to have some peaks and valleys. And so far, in the 4 losses, the worst we've been beat 6 points. So we've been in every game that we've lost. So that's a plus.
You know the measuring stick. You're learning it real quick. North Laurel, and then you got Knox Central, who's really, really good, who's got probably the best player, I think, in the state of Kentucky, and Haley Collins. Then, of course, Bell County's got a nice team. You got a big win over them the other day.
Yeah.
Impressive win, too, because they're not a bad basketball team.
No, they're good. They're solid.
And then Corbin, team you beat, good win over them. You're learning more about this 13th region. What have you learned? What I've already known, this is one of the tougher growth regions around.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really a difficult region to play in, and our district is really a difficult district. We've got Corbin and Whitley County, and two really good basketball teams in our district. So, right now we're just trying to get through the district and hopefully get to region play. So, we started off we're 3-0 in district, and we've got Whitley County Tuesday night and Corbin on Friday. So this is a big week for South Laurel girls basketball.
Then you sandwich in between that a Jackson County game, and then you play your final district game against Williamsburg at home. So you could have the district #1 seed, which it won't matter much though, because all 4 teams can play.
Yeah. It definitely is a tough road, and you go on the road in the 50th district or the 13th region, you better be ready to play because there's no gimmies out there.
No. Of course, you get to play North Laurel later in the season. I know your kids love that game because anytime North and South gets together, it's just a fun atmosphere. You get everybody out and they want to watch. And I know your kids will be looking forward to that game, and that'll be a good measuring stick game for you because that'll know where you're at, how you really feel where your team is at.
Right. I think they're ranked 3rd in the state right now, and they haven't been beat, and they played in our Roy Bowling Classic and beat Simon Kenton on our floor, and it was a great game. And North's got a great team. I mean, they're, they've got about everything you'd want to have in a basketball team.
Yep. Nathan, you got questions for Coach?
So, Coach, did you get to make your own schedule, or was this one you kind of inherited when you came in?
I basically inherited about, I'd say, 80% of it, and then we had to pick up some games late in the year, and our schedule late in the year is really tough. We go play Campbell County, we play Frederick Douglass, we play Russell County late in the year, so. We've got some really difficult games coming up. So, but I wanted that at the end of the year to prepare us for the district and hopefully region play.
Yeah. Did you guys get impacted by a lot of snow cancellations or anything?
Yeah, we did. Franklin County had a really nice tournament that we were going to that got canceled with the snow, and we're not going to be able to make that up. And then we missed our home game with North during that week of the snow when we had Harlan Independent, and we had to reschedule that. We just couldn't get a date to work to reschedule the North game at home, so we're going to play them their place at the original time of February 6th.
Yeah, it seems like a tough schedule, but you kind of already touched on it. In the 13th region, it feels like, especially girls basketball, it's like there's no easy night.
No, there's no easy
You got to
night.
be ready to go. Yeah.
Right. And that's good because, in Indiana, some of the schools I coached at, we had some really tough conferences and some really tough, sectionals the first round in Indiana. And when I was at Carmel High School, Sectional 8 was by far the toughest sectional in the state. So,
What do you think about Kentucky having one state champion?
Well, I love it. That's a drawing card for me. I grew up in Indiana until 1997. We were one class, and I played at a small school, and we got to play in the biggest gymnasium in the state of Indiana that hosted it, Anderson High School, the Wigwam they called it, seated 9,000, and it was packed every night. And I just missed that one class system. I think that's the true indication of who your state champion is. When you have four, it's just, it makes it really difficult to say really who the best team was because they're not playing against each other. So that's a drawing card for me here in Kentucky is the one class system.
One, and it plays out on the biggest stage in Kentucky at Rupp Arena.
Right.
If you've never experienced the Sweet 16 in Kentucky, it is a spectacle.
Right. Well, we hope to experience it at some point.
Coach, a couple more questions. I'll let you go.
Yep.
I know you didn't know much about Coach Donnie Gray, but he passed away this morning. Legendary figure here in Kentucky basketball girls history. What was your thoughts about that? I know you occasionally get to play Clay County. This year they wasn't on the schedule, but Clay County rich in history and his passing devastation here in the girls basketball.
Yeah, it's really sad when you lose those great coaches like that. And Coach Bowling rode the bus with us the other night, and we sat there and had some really good conversations. And we brought up Coach Gray, and that was before he passed, obviously. And Coach Bowling's high honors and everything. And he had nothing but good things to say about him, and so just wish I'd have got here a little earlier to get to know him a little bit. But it's sad when you lose one of the icons in the region. So pretty sad day.
Yeah, Roy and Donnie had some good ones.
Yeah,
I remember some of the matchups they had. Oh yes, they had some doozies. Yeah, the 85, 86, about towards when Roy was about ready to move to boys. Like Donnie they had a really great double overtime game there at Laurel County. It was just classic. Yeah. Coach, I was going to I don't know if you have an update for me, but we've been trying to keep up with the young man that got hurt for the boys team. I know he was a pretty serious injury, and I was just wondering if you may have an update for us. We've been praying for him, and we want to know how he's doing.
Yeah, he's on the mend. He's got a little road to recovery here. He had 3 fractures in the lower back, and he's trying to get some medical help with it and trying to get it to heal pretty quick and see where he is, maybe to give it a go in the district or region. But it's just up in the air really right now. But he was in pretty severe pain and got out of the hospital, I think the Monday after the game on the Saturday that it was played, and he's been to a couple practices to see the team and stuff. So he's doing pretty well. Great family, and just a really sad situation for him in his senior year.
Well, we're praying for him here on the show. We want him to get back. Even though if he don't get back on the court, we just want him to be able to get back to some normal life, because a back injury is really tough. Any injury is tough, but we're thinking about him, and I wanted to get an update for the people out there, because I know they are concerned about him.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Coach Nathan, you anything else you want to say to him, Coach Lingo?
No, good luck the rest of the season, Coach. I'm pretty much saddled to the 14th region, but I'll be checking out your games when I can.
All right, I appreciate you having me on,
Coach. I want to say thank you so very much for being with me. Will you come back again? I always double.
Absolutely. Just let me know. No problem.
Coach, good luck with the rest of your season.
Thank you.
We'll let everybody know they play Whitley County Tuesday night. And then Friday night, they got Corbin at home. If you're going to be in the area, you want to check them out. Coach, good luck to you. God bless you. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.
No problem, Coach. Thank you. Coach Todd Windlan of the South Laurel Lady Cardinal, as they get set for got a big week ahead of them. Good Whitley County team. They play Corbin. They got Jackson County. Then they play Wiensburg, and they play North Laurel. That's a tough 2-week stretch there, Nathan.
It's a tough one, but I mean, I think it's good to backload your schedule.
Ain't no question about it.
Backload your schedule, get some tough games in, and get some tough out of region games out, and not just home games. Go into some hostile territories and play some games down the stretch, and then come back for your district and region tournament.
Okay, you were giving the schedule before Coach come on. Let's go over that one more time for this week on SGS. Big week. Got a lot of big games. Tomorrow night, doubleheader at the John C. Combs Arena. Girls game at 6, boys game at 7:30. This game has been moved from Buckhorn to Perry because of water problems. There'll be an NTI day, number 10, for students in the Perry County school system. So you'll be learning from home tomorrow. Then Thursday night, I think I heard you correctly, you have Knott County Central and Perry Central girls.
Yeah, and let me preface this. All I know, WSGS recently, my buddy Michael Delane, I love him, but he's really bad about sending out a schedule and saying, here's what we're doing. All I can tell you is that I've been in Owensboro this week, and today he sent me a message and said, can you do the game Thursday and can you do the game Friday? Those are the only games I know. But I assume there may be some Leslie and Perry games, Leslie Buckhorn games sprinkled in there. I was just asked about the Perry Knott and the Perry Hazard game. So, yeah,
Perry's at home tomorrow, and Friday, of course, the big one with Hazard. That game, that's a JV varsity game. So there'll be a JV game at 6, varsity at 7:30. So, but the big week, and then of course, I think the Knott County girls come to the John C. Combs Arena on Thursday night to play the Lady Commodores. And Lady Commodores last night bounced back. They get a win over Letcher Central. I didn't catch the final, but I know they won. I want to double check my score here. Last night, I know it was a good bounce back win too after the tough loss to Leslie County. They beat Letcher 52-50 last night. It's a good win for the Commodores.
That Leslie County loss will shake up the district because Perry beat Hazard, then lost to Leslie. So that's going to, we'll have to see how those games shake out the rest of the season and it could end up in a tie.
It makes the game next week with Hazard very crucial. Let's see. They've got the Dogs. Let's see. Let me I know I think it's next week.
They beat Hazard on January 6th. They 2nd, and they play them again February 3rd at Hazard.
Yeah, February 3rd. That's for possibility of the number 1 seed, because then their final seed game is Buckhorn on February 6th.
Well, they split a game. They split the games with Leslie County. What has? Let me check. Hazard.
And they beat Hazard at home, so they go to Hazard, and that'll be a big.
Hazard. Here's the thing: Hazard has beaten Leslie, but they've not played them the second game. Mm-hmm. So, if Hazard can take a game off of Perry, if they beat Leslie, they own it outright. You know what I mean?
Well, Hazard and Leslie play Tuesday night. So, yeah. So that's going to make so it's all going to come one circle here in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. So
and then,
if Hazard beats Leslie on Tuesday, that means Perry has to beat Hazard twice. They have to beat Hazard the next game to tie it.
Yeah. And then also on the boys' side.
Yeah, go ahead.
On the boys' side, Leslie County, where Perry's beat Leslie twice, and Hazard's beat Leslie twice. They're playing actually for the number 1 seed. If they beat Buckhorn tomorrow night, they're almost playing for the number 1 seed Friday night.
Yeah, and I think if I'm not mistaken, the way at least it was last year, I don't know if they voted to change it or not, but in the 14th region, in the 54th district, the tiebreaker goes to the Cantrell ratings. So the Cantrell ratings would be the tiebreaker.
And we know anything can happen if we're going to the Cantrell ratings.
Well, you guys, I'm sure you guys have heard my, I've said it a few times, but have you guys ever met Dave Cantrell?
No. All I know is what the Dipper used to tell me when he was still alive. He was a meat packing guy in the back of a meat yard or something.
Well, do you know, I know Dave Cantrell very well. Do you know why?
No,
because it's really Randy Napier. He invented his own ranking system.
Jamie, you see what we learned on this show?
Yeah, Dave Cantrell is really Randy Napier. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. They might say they know him and he was a meat packer or whatever, but I've got a pretty good inside track on that. I think Herald Bashir might have been the one that told me originally that was.
Now you wouldn't tell a lie with a preacher man sitting right beside us, would you? I'm not
telling you any lies. I told you that Dave Cantrell is Randy Napier.
Wow, devastating, Jamie. We have broke news right here. Randy Napier is Dave Cantrell.
And does that mean he also does the RPI ranking?
Apparently, because somebody's done.
No, the RPI rankings. There's actually a monkey at the bottom of the KHSAA offices that just smashes its hands and eats bananas against the keyboard, and whatever comes out is what comes out. That's what the RPI is.
I thought I would educate myself on the RPI. By the time I think I've done Adam, go ahead.
Listen, you learned absolutely nothing about the RPI.
Hey, I can tell you exactly. I mean, I can write the formula.
Well, I've
seen it before, but it's stupid. I don't like it.
It's easy as it can be to determine how your opponent done, and let that decide perhaps whether or not you would,
You've got your rank, you got your win percentage, your opponent's win percentage, and your opponent's win percentage. And then you go, and if you're playing an out-of-state opponent, they have their own little. Doesn't matter if they are 0-28 or 28-0, they get the same. It's the same for all of them. So if you play a bunch of really bad out-of-state teams, if you're not that good of a team, you can beef up your RPI like that.
Let's see. I think there's a team in the 14th region. I won't say their name. They have an awfully good record. They've played probably 10 schools in West Virginia. I won't say their name, but
I mean, if you're talking about Jenkins, just go ahead and say.
I'm not. I don't. I don't spread gossip around here. I don't.
I mean, I'm just saying. I'm not spreading gossip. I'm just. Let me look at Jenkins' schedule here.
Well,
I think they've played a bunch of them.
Wise, Virginia, Hurley, Virginia, and Pilgrim's not. They've not got as many as not got as many as I thought. But I mean, Jenkins also. I'm looking at Jenkins' girls' schedule. Okay, here we go, baby. Here we go. Hey, Winston, I'm your biggest fan, brother. I'm your biggest fan. Hashtag Cavs roll. But we got on here.
Friends, we've gotten Letcher County mad, Nathan.
Northwood, Virginia, Hurley, Virginia, Eastside, Virginia, J.I. Burton, Virginia, Westland, Ohio, Bush School, Washington, Palm Harbor, Florida, Kachia Co-op, Tennessee, Cornerstone Christian Academy, Virginia. We got Kachia twice. Then we got Hurley, Virginia, and then Axe Chilhowie, Virginia to end the season. So they're number 3 in RPI. But look, at the same time, I'll talk about all those out-of-state teams. They're 15-3. They're 15-3, and all you can do is play the teams that are in front of you, and they've won those games. I'll go ahead and rant about this for a little bit. I feel like they played not within 11. They did. I think Hazard did run the clock on them. They ended up losing that one by 30. They're only 2 losses in the region. They are 6-2 in the region. But for me, they just got to win one of these. They got to win one of these contender matches before I would grant they're number 3 in the RPI in the region. Until they beat somebody that is, and believe me, I don't want to see them lose. I don't get joy out of seeing teams lose. I would love to see these kids.
I'm the biggest Winston Lee fan there is.
I want to see them get a big win before I hop on the Jenkins train. But there's nobody out there that wants to see Winston.
They have Letcher coming up, and the Letcher game is the biggest game of the year for them.
The 53rd district tournament is what I think they got to prove. The knockout game. They where I feel who I help is not to watch them grow up. But at the end of the night, my job to report the game, so forth. I do think.
You're cutting in and out, Jamie.
I think I think that Nick does.
Yeah, listen, they had Knott County, and right where they wanted them, they're not. They made a couple of bad turnovers late in the game, missed a couple of shots. Knott County made a couple of big shots, and then they ended up hitting some free throws to put that game away. Or that's a 2-3 point game going down to the final minute. So I mean, Jenkins is not as bad as everybody thinks they are, but they're.
How about Letcher's guys? Got.
Jamie, we can't hear.
I think Jamie's trolling us with his mute button. With his, he has. He's just moving his mouth, and we can't hear a word you're saying. I promise. See, look there. The mute button's off, but we still can't hear. We're trying. I promise you, we're not playing with you. We can't hear you.
No, we're not. We can't hear anything you're saying because you're cutting in and out.
It might be internet. I don't know.
You might want to come back in and come back out. Yeah. Sometimes that happens.
But let me say something. Hey, you put words in my mouth there, CJ. You said
no, Nathan, not.
You said, I'm not
I
saying
wasn't get you the team.
You said I'm not saying Jenkins is as bad as everybody says they is. I never said they were bad.
You did not. Those words
never about everybody. If you're talking about everybody, just know you're not talking about me.
Nathan did not say Jenkins was bad. CJ Howard did not say Jenkins was bad. Jamie did not say Jenkins was bad. All we said was their RPI is.
I said, my boy Winston.
Winston's our boy. Yeah.
Maybe Randy Napier runs the Cantrell ratings and Winston Lee runs the RPI. Maybe that's what's going on.
That's. I love this stuff. You can't beat this with a stick. Okay, this is awesome stuff. This is why Nathan Little, because he's my stirrer. He stirs the pot, then he gets everything going.
Yeah, everybody else is afraid to make people mad and say things, but
not Nathan Little.
You know what, CJ? They're all mad at me anyway. Before I even start talking, I've already said something to make them mad. So, for better or worse. But brother, I'll wait till Jamie gets back on here, but I got to get the
Nathan. If you need to go right now and put your children to bed, you may go do so. I can handle it by myself.
We'll wait till at least you get Jamie back and make sure we can hear what he's saying.
Because I do not want your fatherly duties are very important.
I appreciate that. I'm running on fumes here, but had a fun time.
I know you are because listen, you've been in Owensboro all week. You had to travel all the way back Thursday night. You had to go back Friday. You did get to sleep a little bit last night in a hotel, so at least you got some rest.
Hey, let me tell you this too, and this is another thing that's probably going to get me in trouble. Greg Napier snores, baby. He snores. I mean,
I love it. I love this.
I mean, he's got, I might have had to have walked over across the room, rolled him over a little bit.
Oh Lord.
Big fan, Greg. Greg did a great job this week, though.
He did do a great job this week. We've got, let's see, I'm going to update everybody on the last game. 2-minute warning. Buffalo with the ball, 32-29. So that's 4 points.
That's 3.
That's 3. Field goal can tie it. Touchdown can win it. They have the ball. It's 4th down and 5 at the Buffalo 47 with 2-minute warning. So we already have the Eagles in there. We're waiting on the final edition. That was, tell you what, Eagles looked impressive today. They ran the ball so well.
Man, I don't know what it is. I know probably because I just don't have. With professional sports, I've always been more of instead of really caring about a particular team, I just follow players. Mm-hmm. I was a big Kobe Bryant fan. I loved John Stockton over at the Utah Jazz. I was a big fan of Tom Brady, but since Tom Brady's been out of it, I've not seriously followed the NFL. Not even enough to keep up a fantasy team.
Yeah. Well, the only time I really watch the pro is when it's playoffs. If it's NBA playoffs, NFL football playoffs. Now, I watch football season long. But NBA playoffs, Major League Baseball playoffs, because baseball, there's 162 games. It's a little hard to get excited about a 3-game series with the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's okay if it's the game 1 of the divisional series, best of 3. I can handle that, but it's hard to get excited about. So, but if whichever team does play Philadelphia, it's going to be a good Super Bowl. And, if Kansas City was to hold on win this game, they're going for something very rarely you will see, a three-peat and the NFL, we've never seen it. So, and this would be their 4th Super Bowl in 6 years. Is that right? If they hold on and win. If not, then it will be Buffalo's first since '86. So, but
So no three-peats. The Patriots did what, 3 and 4 years?
3 and 4. The Giants messed up their plans that when they had the undefeated team, would have been undefeated when Eli when he caught that threw that one pass and
The Randy Moss year.
yeah. Let's see. Yeah, 2's been the most, and they're going for 3. Jamie might be making sure that he can hear well, so I'm gonna. They was up a 2-minute warning. Now Kansas City has the ball. It's at the Buffalo, so they stopped them on 4th down. They're at the Buffalo 47. So that means that all they need to do is get them probably a 1st down. It's over. So might be Chiefs and Eagles. It's staring that way. We'll see in the next minute 54.
And I won't watch a single down of it. I'll watch it, but
I won't. Well, now I don't know if I'll be able to watch Super Bowl or not because I might be in. I will probably be in Corbin that day at the Civic Center. We're going to be there for our first show of the year, AMW Super Showdown. We'll be there for an event going to take place. It's going to be a big event. We got the headliner Chris Michaels. He's going to be there. Stan Sierra, Kyle Mangert. All the gang. We're going to talk with that with Jamie too when we get him back here in just a second. And but now let's see if we can hear him.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, we can hear you loud and clear.
Before we lose me again, Nathan, you guys knocked it out of the park down at the All-A, brother. I heard an old timer once say how they enjoyed watching that's on the radio. Well, I enjoyed watching you guys on a whatever that was you guys done. You and your partner did a great job, pal.
I appreciate it. It was and I've had a lot of good feedback from the folks here back at home in Hazard that appreciated listening to it. And believe me, hey, my radio career has it's been going for a while now, but I know this is hard to believe, but early on, the folks, the Hazard Bulldogs were not a fan. I know that's hard. I know that's hard to believe, but
you're growing on them, man.
But listen, through my charming good looks, mostly, I believe, and dedication to the craft and making sure that overall, all I want to do is just be the background music to all these kids around here and just shine a light on them and not have any agenda. Just go out there and call the game down the middle. It's what I always try to do. And I think we're doing good. WSGS, I think we're in a good spot right now. And I had fun. I had fun and would have loved to have seen Hazard stay, not give up the lead in that game and then give their best shot at Lyon County. But, yeah, I appreciate that, Jamie. But I'd already told CJ I am an old man, and I've been going for a while. And I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. But you guys are going to kill it the rest of the night. And I appreciate you guys, too. We got big week here on the right. And I think it's county tournament, grade school tournament in Perry County this week. So we, just a big week. And also Wednesday, you'll see me in the stands for the boys varsity middle school cheerleading competition.
Where is this located at?
At Perry County Central. My little girl cheers for East Perry. So we'll be there. I'll be a cheer dad on Wednesday.
Well, best of luck to her and to you, and try not to get thrown out, pal.
Hey, listen here. I've never been thrown out of anything. There was one time at Floyd Central that they did have a constable keep eyes on me for the rest of the night in case I slipped up. But I straightened up, acted right. But you boys have a good night.
Nathan, I'll give you a call. Keep you informed. You have a good one, sir. I'll talk to you this week at the John C. Combs Arena.
Thank you.
All right, Nathan. He's a dandy. He's a good one.
He is indeed, brother. And again, apologize for being outried. I listened to the whole show. You did a couple of nice coaching interviews on there, and I like what you said from your heart about our friend from over in Belfry, CJ.
Let me hear your thoughts on. I know you, Coach Haywood, meant a lot to you, and talk about him a little bit because I'm still hurting from it. It's tough.
CJ, to me, again, in football is probably the least of my 4 sports that I cover as far as my knowledge, but I love it. But Coach Haywood was the type of guy that when you shared the faith in Christ that he and I did, I could listen to him talk all day. I mean that. He's the kind of guy that and it didn't even have to be about football. I would have enjoyed listening to him talk about anything. And hundreds of people, if not thousands, are better because of Coach. And I don't know that we, throughout the entire mountains, realized how big. And yes, I know we know they've got titles, but football's life for a lot of those people over there. They live, eat, and breathe football.
When Matney passed, it was hard. We struggled. We're going to struggle harder with this one. I mean, the Matney Haywood thing is about the same impact because they both. Haywood probably is a little more than Matney did, but it's the same hurt because two really great individuals that done a lot for not football, but the life skills and knowed when you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, CJ, we would have hoped in an ideal world though to have known they were going to pass. They could have put some things more into place. It'll be, and let's give credit to whomever gets the task of doing it. Nobody's going to fill his shoes.
Me and Nathan talked about that. What do you do? I mean, what does Belfry do?
Yeah, there's
you
some.
saw how hard it was for Johnson Central to hire. Did they stay in? Did you go out? They decided to stay in with Coach Peck. And look, it's paid off the past 3 years. He's been the head coach.
Yeah.
The first year was a little tough because it was still fresh in their memory. And this is going to be hard on these Belfry kids, because you're gonna go to a Belfry game now, and the man in the ties in the suit be there no more.
Right.
And it's just going to be heartbreaking.
Yes, it will be, man. And our thoughts and prayers are with all of them and their family, and the kids, that look up to him, and so many questions why and so forth. And we just got to keep praying for them. And they got to the challenge now, though, for them is to continue on like he would want them to.
Just like the Johnson Central team did when Coach Matney, that first game they played, they had to go fourth. Now this Belfry team's got to go fourth. But it'll be interesting to see what they do, what direction they go. They do have a little time to not really go hard at it now. They can let the memory of Coach Haywood go and let it be,
Sure.
And let things like that, let those kids, have their moment, Do you want to hear some, I guess it ain't breaking news, but I guess you're getting ready. I guess you're going to know what I'm getting ready to tell you. The Chiefs are in the Super Bowl again.
Imagine that. Yes, sir.
Wait, breaking news. Kansas City's in the Super Bowl.
Who you got winning it?
Well, let me give you the final. The 32-29 final. Chiefs, I tell you what, if the Eagles play the way they did today, they'll beat the Chiefs 3 touchdowns.
Wow.
But Kansas City's going to be even more motivated now because nobody wanted them to be there. Nobody wanted them to be part of a history-making 3 Super Bowl championships. Nobody's done that.
Right.
And this is their 5th Super Bowl in 6 years.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's I still think though I think they're going to win. That's who I told you guys last week. I thought the Chiefs would win, and so we'll see. I hope you're right. Let me say that. I hope that you're right, but I'd say it'll be the Chiefs. Let me give a shout out. You probably already talked about it, but while we're on football, Landry Collett signed with Moorhead. That's
Didn't
pretty
know
good
that.
news.
Did
Yeah,
not know that.
I think that broke just a little bit ago, and so that's a good get. They send 2 players from Leslie County down to Moorhead, and so that'll give us a couple local kids to go down and cheer on as we go down and watch the Moorhead Eagles.
Who's the other one down there?
The kicker, the
Oh,
punter.
Jesse's going.
Jesse had already committed 2-3 weeks ago, I'm assuming, and then I got the message just a little bit ago and actually just posted it. So Collett's going down there, and that's a neat honor, man.
Oh, Landry deserves it. He's great.
Yes,
Listen, good quarterback. The coach down there is a great guy. He loves his kids. We interviewed him early in the year when I'm going to try to get him back when football season gets back around. He was a great interview. I love that guy. He's really good.
What's it take for Moorhead and Pikeville? And I know it's your show. I shouldn't be asking questions, but I just got to know what your take is. What's it take for Moorhead and Pikeville to win? Because of all the mountains to the mountain athletes, they got to have a head up on recruiting them. And what's it take, man?
Well, I think it ain't a matter of recruiting the mountain kids. It's what you're getting out of state's what your question is. Yeah. You know, we talk about Union. I talk about Union a lot of times. I think Union's a great program, but they're not. They ought to be on the same echelon as the University of Cumberland, but they're not. And I'm not blaming coaches because coaches can only recruit what they've got. But if you don't recruit well, you're not going to have a longevity.
Sure.
You know, both coaches, Pikeville's coach and Moorhead's new coach, listen, they had a great first year Moorhead did. To take the shoes of the old coach, he'd been there for 6-7 years. He won. Well, they went 7-4 this year, and they got in the playoffs. Is that right?
Yeah.
So I mean, he's recruiting. For him to give Landry a crack at this, that gives me. He tells me he's. Well, listen, I've seen Landry play. He's got a great arm.
Yeah.
He can run football. He can throw football. He'll be a great fit for Moorhead. Jesse will be a great fit for the kicking game for Moorhead. Listen, I'm glad on both those ends. Congratulations to those two guys. See, this is why that I like to have people like you, because you break news that we don't know about. Because we don't know these things. Sometimes I don't get stuff like that until days later.
Yeah, that just came by too just a little bit ago, and so we're happy to be able to bring that to the folks.
Oh, God, yeah.
And so, CJ, the All-A, I think you guys did a great job breaking it down. But, man, I think Hazard's got to be happy. I know they wanted to win the thing, but, man, you losing the Final Four to the team that won it, that's not a bad showing.
Like, something happened today that's never happened, I don't think, in the girls, boys All-A. Same team won both boys and girls. And I don't think it's ever happened.
No, that's cool.
You've had teams from the same school win it year after the next, but never the same school win it the same year. Mm-hmm. And that's, that just tells you what Danville Christian is building over there.
Yeah.
If you've not seen Danville Christian play, Lord, they're good. I didn't know their girls program was that good. That tells me that when the 12th region tournament comes around, that might be some fireworks there. We may see a couple of Danville Christian schools going to Rupp Arena. I wouldn't put it past you there. I mean, what the Danville Christian, I figured, Danville Christian boys beat the defending state champions. And then the Danville Christian girls beat a Bethlehem team who is a contender for the girls' state title.
Right.
Not just the All-A title, the state title.
Yes, sir. So,
I mean, yeah. A great week at the All-A. Very proud of our mountain schools.
Yes.
Good talk. We had Pikeville win a game. Hazard won 2. Martin County competitive, had chances to win their game. Probably of all the mountain teams, Millsboro had the toughest game.
Yeah.
With the worst loss of everybody, but Knock County girls, listen, had their chances. Had
the ball late in the game too, man. If we, I think if Kyra hadn't picked up the third foul when she did, it limited her minutes early and her play at least, and so that hurt them a tick. But
and also without Paula now, that's going to be hard for them going down the road.
Yeah,
their inside game's going to be. It's going to be. They're going to work on those guards, and if they're not hitting, then
Well, and I think you'll see them rely more heavily on their press. And then the Miss Bailey's doing okay. Samara's doing good. She's just it's who backs her up will probably be their problem.
Yeah.
Kezia dropped down and played the 5 spot for them in the Final Four of the All-A. Did a good job there. But it's just, you don't face was one of the top 10 players, in my opinion, in the 14th region.
Yeah.
So it's a tough loss, man. But CJ, it's a fun time, man. I tell everybody, basketball season, you have the pre-Christmas schedule, you have the Christmas schedule, All-A, and now everything's going to be pointing towards district and regional play from here on. That makes it fun, pal.
Oh, no question about it. One couple more things, and I'll let you go. We didn't get to talk no wrestling last week, so let's talk just a few minutes about wrestling. Got a big event coming up in Corbin on here a week from Saturday or Sunday. We're going to be in Corbin for the AMW Sunday Showdown. You can get tickets online. The event it's going to be a fun event. It's a 5 p.m. show. If you can be out there in Corbin, and if you're done with your church services and everything, come by there. Then on April, I can't remember the date, we got the big Weekend of Champions. Always something big happening there. We already know for Weekend of Champions that the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship is going to be defended in the Weekend of Champions. So that's going to be a great thing there. There's other events coming up too that AMW will be posting. So keep your eye on that. And I know, Jamie, you guys been doing. You was there for the Thanksgiving turmoil and done some stuff, and I think you're going to follow them sometimes when you can.
The Corbin event will be hard for me. I may get to slip in for the second half of it. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward then to the one in April. I wonder how you guys, CJ, you did a great job, how you guys are going to top what you done in Thanksgiving, though. Because, man, from the beginning to the end, that was a good show. Very entertaining. The crowd was into it, and it did not disappoint. Everything delivered, pal.
Well, you had a lot of storylines. If you watch the event, you can go back and watch it again. It's on YouTube. You can go. We set up a lot of things. And I can't talk about those things because but they're there. You're going to see a lot of things develop on the 9th. That's going to lead us into the next month, and then there's be some events that we're going to be telling you about that we're going to be a part of in some different places. Don't know; those have not been yet to be announced because we're not sure on the dates and the places and times yet. But I would expect we'll have something. I think we'll have probably 3 or 4 events before we have the Weekend of Champions. So
cool.
So that should be a lot of fun. Where people are going to be there in Corbin. We're going to have the headliner Chris Michaels, Stan Sierra's going to be there, Kyle Maggart's going to be there. We're going to have the tag team champions Chris Crow and Eric Porter there. We're going to have Marty Clay. We're going to have Zodiac. The Misery's going to be there. We saw them 2 battle in the cage, which set up the winning pinfall for Kyle's team after the disturbance from Misery. You will have some other AJ, the Kazana boys are going to be there. We're going to hear from a whole bunch of different guys that's going to be there on February 9th. So get your tickets, be a part of it. Corbin Civic Center. If you don't know where it's at, it's you'll go down like you're going to go into Corbin. You're going to go up a little hill. You're going to go about 6 miles, 4 or 5, 6 miles. It's on the right side of the road there. It's a little nice big building. I've been there many times, so look forward to the event. It should be a lot of fun. We've got a lot of great basketball coming up too here in the next couple of weeks. We've got a big week coming up here. Got a big game Friday night. Hazard Perry Central, the second match. Of course, tomorrow night got Buckhorn and Perry. That game's been moved to Perry because of the water, no water at Buckhorn. They're trying to fix the water lines and stuff. And, of course, Perry County schools are not going to be in session tomorrow. They're going to take an NTI day, and it will be their 10th of the semester.
I get the pleasure, CJ, of doing something that's always been on my bucket list.
Tomorrow night
We'll
you'll
be
be
Old Car Creek High School Gymnasium, Pay. I'm looking forward to that as the Indians play host to the Wasp. Wayland and Car Creek will battle it out. Of course, it's Knox County and Floyd Central, but got a few limited tickets to it. I'm surprised. I thought it would have already sold out, but I talked to the athletic director, Justin Elmer, before I came on the show, and I expect it to be sold out before the night's end.
Yeah, he's got a lot on his plate. He's got to get ready for the boys region. Where's the district?
I'm thinking we talked to, some of us did. I didn't with Justin, but I think it's there too. It should be Cordia's year to host it. They may choose to have it. Cordia plays most of their games in the old Hyman High School, but if I'm counting right, it would be their year to host it. So I'm going to say it'll end up at Knott Central, and that'll be fun. The Knott County Grade School Tournament finishes up this week. We play Tuesday night and finish up on Thursday. CJ, I can tell you too, I got some messages. Perry County's semifinal will be Tuesday, but I wouldn't be surprised if they don't move their championship game to Saturday. Okay. That's it's not been put in stone, but they've invited us to come over and cover it, and I won't be surprised if that don't happen, pal.
Yeah, because you want to make sure that they get coverage as well as the So Jamie, I want to thank you for the past 2 weeks you've been with me. I know that anytime I need you, I can say, Jamie, I need you to be on the show. Can you do it? You'll be right there. I should have Armando back with me next week, but for some reason he's not back with me. I'll check with you. I can't have a show on the 9th because I'll be in Corbin. I have to be there for AMW, so we'll not have a show. So, but looking forward to it. But Jamie, thank you so much. And
hey man, I appreciate the invite. God bless
always.
you.
God bless you. Have a good one.
All right.
Jamie Hughes from over Knox County as he gets big week for them. Let me go ahead and I'm gonna get you out of here. We've had a good night. Let me go ahead and give me some final notes. I want to thank all of our guests: John Clay, Brandon Hayes, Coach Woodwin from South Laurel, Jamie, Nathan. You were awesome, my friend. Be back with you next Wednesday night, next Sunday night for another edition of the CJ Harris Show, episode number 20. Do have 2 guests already. I've already got Robert Creech from Wolf County and Coach Brad Sizemore from Bell County. Do not know who my co-host is yet. I'm trying to get Jeff Archer. I'm trying to call him. He's not answering me back, so hopefully I'll get back with him here in the next day or two. Next Sunday night, I'll be with you February 2nd for the edition of the CJ Harris Show. I want to remind everybody, please check us out on YouTube. Go there and subscribe. Help me out there. Follow me on TikTok. If you guys want to give to the show, I would appreciate it. My Cash App is in the bio down at the bottom of the page. I want to thank everybody again. And again, I want to say prayers for Coach Philip Haywood and his family and friends, for Coach Donnie Gray, his family and friends. I also want to pray for all the people in the LA wildfires. Robert Garland, my ex-wife's nephew, he needs a lot of prayers, and anybody that we hate missed you. We want to pray for you tonight, and hopefully you'll do better. Guys, we love you all. And this is CJ Harris running third, heading for home. As Casey will say, keep your feet on the ground, keep reaching for stars. Love you all. God bless you, and good night.